I think I need theme music. I think that's our problem. I'm going to come up with, because I can't just take something I like to listen to and just play it in the background, because then they really get ticked off at that over at Instagram, and you don't want to steal an artist's music. So I have to call someone I know and say, can I play your song or something? Because I really feel like getting up and groovy with you people. I have had a really fantastic couple of weeks. I hope you have too. It's great to be back live with you. Last Thursday night, I was cooking a dinner at Casa Tua in Aspen, Colorado, kicking off the 2021 Aspen Food and Wine Classic, but celebrating 2 classes of Best New Chefs. I think I've been there for like 21 years doing that, and obviously it's the first time we've ever had 2 years worth of chefs. Incredible young visionary culinarians who are trying to change more than just how their food looks on a plate. They're trying to change the way we look at food, we look at each other, we look at our culture, we look at ways to change the system. It was really, really exciting to be around. This looks like a ton of crazy stuff, but today we're gonna make Thad Mun Pla, which are Thai fish cakes. It's not complex. Don't change the channel, stop, hang in there. Text your friends and tell them to tune in, because I'm gonna blow your mind. This is one of those dishes we love to eat when we're out, but we never make it home. Welcome to Instagram Live, AZ Cooks. You are with me, Andrew Zimmern. Thanks to the good folks at Shun Cutlery and Florida Cognac Rum. I'm so pumped to do this with you. This is something that, you know, my kid, when he's home, the places that, you know, the towns that he's living in, stuff like that, they don't have access to like great Thai food and stuff like that. So he'll often come home, and by the end of the night, he wants to just like sit on the couch and just hang out and be with me and the dog. And I prefer that too, because I like travel for a living. So I want to be at home and just sit on the couch. So we're a couple of lazy bums, and we will cook in together, which is a great joy for me as a dad. This is one of the things that he loves. He loves fish, and we can do it with a lake fish that we catch. This is a halibut tail. You know, we're always talking in our kitchen whenever I have a halibut or a salmon or a big fish, and I always say I take the tails and I keep them in a freezer bag. It's for stuff like this, because this is ground into a paste. So I don't need like primo center cut red snapper or halibut, you know, at whatever, $25 a pound. I can use the tails and I can use the trim to make this. So I want to show you the first step in, if I can find the right knife, first step in what we're doing. All I want to do is put this into small pieces so that my food processor has an easier time of processing this paste. We're essentially making a seasoned fish paste. We're going to mold it into little patty shapes. Then we're going to fry it. And we're going to serve it with a great dipping sauce. So this is our fish. In it goes.
Did you catch any good fish in Colorado?
Oh, I did. Matter of fact, I just posted it on Instagram. Thanks to the folks at Yeti and a whole bunch of the marketing people from that company and some Food and Wine 10 Best New Chefs for this last season. They took us, I think, Saturday and Sunday morning. There were 2 different groups that went out. I was Saturday morning's group, and we just had a blast. To be on such a beautiful piece of water, I mean, just pulling trout after trout out. The person on each day, I think Yeti gave away a big cooler, and a fantastic chef from New York, from Winson, Calvin Eng. It was his birthday, and he caught the most fish, which was beautiful that worked out that way. But sun, 80 degrees, not a cloud in the sky, no humidity, and we're just pulling in rainbows and browns with these incredible guides. It was fantastic. Okay, so I've got the fish in there, and pictures are on my Instagram. Thank you, Yeti. Thank you, everyone, for making that possible. We're essentially going to make an emulsion. Now, typically, I would take this dish, you take pork belly, a really fatty piece, and you dice it small and boil it for a little while, and then put that in there so the fat would emulsify with the fish and a little bit of ice to make a really, really, what the Chinese call QQ. I don't know what the Thai phrasing is, but QQ means bouncy. You need to have a bouncy cake. And what I found after a little trial and error was that I didn't need the pork fat. I could use schmaltz. And because we're coming to the end of the Jewish High Holy Days, it's super easy. I have a lot of schmaltz around. I'm going to put in a couple of ice cubes. Try to put in a couple of broken ones. You know, I don't want that. I'm not trying to put in a lot of water. But, you know, just like, I don't know, quarter of a cup, half a cup, depends on how moist your fish is. I know that halibut is, you know, a moister fish. So I have that in there. Halibut has a lot of water. The ice chills the fat so that it actually emulsifies into the fish. I love shouting. I actually do. So, next thing I want to do, I want to add my egg yolk. Add that to the mix.
We have a question. What is your favorite
Little salt.
ice cream flavor?
Oh my God. Salt and straws, smoked yogurt, bourbon, habanero, marionberry swirl, which is actually a flavor. They send it to me as often as they make it. Jenny's, buttermilk with cherries? Really simple. I think it's buttermilk with cherries, brown butter with cherries. Salt and straw, Jenny's are just two scoop shops that Grater's black raspberry with chocolate flakes in it. There are a couple scoop shops that I shamelessly I can't stop eating their ice cream. It's why I weigh 700 pounds. Okay, so I've got my egg yolk in there. I'm going to season this with a chili. This is a red Fresno.
What's your favorite kind of pepper?
Oh my God, that's like asking who was the best kisser in your life. There's like 7. This is a true story. I just went to the farm stand that I go shopping at, and I counted they have 17 different peppers because I made my pepper relish. I make pepper relish every September. And I got to use 17, including pasilla, fresh ones that are like this long. Incredible they grow so many peppers because there are peppers all over the world. ones from Turkey and Eastern Europe and Africa, and it's just absolutely incredible. Here, I have a whole bunch of ones. These are, I think, Madeline, are these from your garden or JP's? Mine. This is unbelievable. Look at these. They're stunning. These little aji peppers, serranos, red Fresnos. Look at these. They're absolutely spectacular. These are very, very hot. You can get a big bundle of Thai chilies for $3 at the market. They also freeze really well if you only use 1 or 2. But yeah, these are just, I'm stealing those and bringing those home. I'm going to add a little bit of brown sugar, some fish sauce. Remember, I've got that egg yolk in there. And then I've got Thai chili paste. Now, on our website, I have a recipe for making your own Thai chili paste. I'm going to put a dollop in there. Maybe a little bit more than a dollop. It's chilies and lemongrass and galangal and shrimp paste and some other goodies. And it gives this dish its flavor. I like to make my own and put it away, but if you want to buy it yourself, there are several brands out there. Is it Numploy? The same people that make those cans of coconut milk that you buy in most markets also make a whole line of chili pastes. And also there's, I'm forgetting the brand, but I know we have some. This one that comes, what is that, Thai Kitchen, that comes in the little jars. I like the Thai one. I mean, this is, how do I say this nicely? It's more expensive and it comes in a little jar. And while it's easier to find, I would rather do the other one. And well, let me buzz this, and then we'll talk about more about that paste. All right, so that's done. I'll pluck out that little ice cube that's kicking around. Serves me right for using the crappy little plastic Cuisinart. Some of the key ingredients that are in that paste are really galangal, which is a rhizome. It's like ginger, right? You can even see it kind of looks like ginger, kind of grows like ginger, except it's very tough and fibrous and has more of a medicinal quality to it. And it's central in Thai cooking and cooking in several other parts of that physical part of Asia before colonialists put lines on a map, right? And, you know, if you don't have galangal, you can use ginger as a substitute sometimes, or just omit it, but you can get this at any Asian market, and Asian markets are in every town in America. Obviously, the right chilies, I mean, there's 5 different types of chilies in here that Madeline brought in from her garden, all of which would be appropriate to use. There's also ones you can buy at the market. You know, chilies are so expensive. This same amount of chilies in, you know, a conventional market or farmer's market is going to be 5-6 times what it is at the Asian market. And these are actually bought from a Hmong farm in Minnesota, right up the road. So they're just giving a better price to the Asian market managers, wholesale price, then they pass it on to their friends and customers. This is what lemongrass looks like when you grow it. Was this grown in a tropical or equatorial country? Absolutely not. This is Minnesota lemongrass that came from Madeline's garden as well. I mean, look at that. It's gorgeous. As she just said a minute ago before we went live, it grows like a weed. Hello. When I do something cute like that, the least you guys could do is just like smile or something. No, not at all. I thought that was kind of, hey, how are you? It's unbelievable. Keeps bugs away. I mean, this is, the plant type is called citronella. Even the leaves up here, when you rub them, smell the end of those leaves. You can smell all the lemon in there. I mean, it's unbelievable. I save all this and put it in a sachet in the bath, or some people just put it in, they'll buy like a really nice porcelain colander, and you put all your aromatics like ginger and lemongrass and lavender, and you just put them in a colander and put them in the corner of the shower. The hot water and steam will activate them. You'll actually smell it, and it's real Ayurvedic aromatherapy. It really works. And then, of course, there's the usable part of the lemongrass, which is down here, that meaty, beady, big and bouncy part. That's not the root that was cut off, and it's not the tops. It's right there in the middle. You peel away this outer layer, take the back of the knife and just bend it, and there's, wow, potent. This is a nice batch of lemongrass. Madeline must have used a lot of fertilizer on that. Anyway, stunning. And you can grow it anywhere. It grows like weeds. It's beautiful. Looks so, so, so pretty. This is what galangal looks like. It's like if a piece of ginger grew inside a pine tree, that's what it would be like. Very piney and aromatic, and a very, very specific flavor. So, last thing that I want to do is take this out of here, put that there, take my cute Rachel Ray rubber spatula, and put this, all of this out, put it on my plate. Unplug this, and for the 100th time, I got to remember to call the Cuisinart people and have them send over a real one. I like that one because it's light and it's portable. I can bring it to food gigs and demos and stuff like that, and it's handy, but you know, it doesn't do the work that the real big ones do. So here I have that wonderful, spongy, bouncy force meat, but it's not done yet. I have to add a couple of ingredients in there to really make it sing. So there's two things. I want to take like a couple of these lime leaves. I want to knit them together and roll them. And then what I want to do, slice them really thin. And when I sprinkle them into this mix, you'll get, hopefully, 1 or 2 lime leaves in every bite of your fish cake. I'm going to do one more.
Where do you find lime leaves?
Any Asian market, but I got to be honest with you. 3 years ago, even the big box stores started carrying them along with those other spices. And the reason is that so many people wanted to cook the foods of Southeastern Asia at home. You can, if you don't have any, you can use lemon zest. But there's a sweetness to these lime leaves that's really unbelievable. And then I want to add some green beans, because when you bite into these, you're going to get the crunchy vegetal texture of the green beans. Now, we were talking about fish red curry paste before. There are so many things that you can use that in. The recipe for how to make it is on my website, as is the dipping sauce. You see I'm just slicing this really thin? We're going to mix this into there. I probably just want the rest of what I have here. And green beans are coming to a close now. Madeline, are these from your garden too?
I should have gotten them, but no, those are from the store.
Should have, because you probably still have some growing. Such a great time of year.
Have you ever been to Scotland?
I have been to Scotland many times. I love Scotland. It's one of the best, most beautiful places in the world, and right now is the time to go. Warm days, cool nights, but the loaming, the change of color in the valleys there is absolutely unbelievable. So, you know, you don't need to do this in a bowl. You can just combine this on a plate. Look at those big pieces of pepper that never, because I used the wrong Cuisinart, never got pureed in there. Oh well. That happens. We just will make sure when we're making patties to account for that. So there we have, and by the way, why do I use a little board like this? Because it had my fish on it, and now I don't need to sanitize every board here, just that little one. This right here is a wonderful peanut sauce that I happen to love with this, and I want to serve some lime wedges with this, and I want to serve a little I'm just going to cut a chili and Just put a couple little pieces on top of there. It's kind of like the international sign that it's spicy, because this sauce is a little bit spicy, a little bit sweet, a little bit peanutty, right? And let's temp our oil. Boy, I love it when it comes together perfect. And then what you want to do is you just want to take some of this in your fingers. Don't get into analysis paralysis. There's going to be a lot of splattering because it's wet, right? And just in a little patty and drop it in. Now, we are dropping cold fish puree into there. So remember that. That's why I was okay that it was 380 degrees. Because the moment I drop 5, 6, 7, 8 of these fish cakes in there, it's going to drop down to 360, maybe a little bit less, and then come back up. And notice I lay them away from me. And if you come over here and look how I'm making these, I'm just scooping a portion up in my hand, and I'm just letting gravity do the work. I'm not squeezing them together. I'm just letting gravity do the work and let them slide in there. Let gravity do the work and let them slide in there. By the way, that Hunan peanut sauce, I forget where I left off with that. That is also on my website.
Do you know any good Thai restaurants in the Twin Cities?
Oh my gosh, do you want to? This is so embarrassing. Had you asked me that question a couple years ago, I would have said yes. I moved out deep into the country, and I haven't eaten Thai food from a restaurant here in the Twin Cities in 2 years. Because it's one of those things that I eat when I'm not in the Twin Cities, when I'm in LA and New York and other places that have really big, and there are some really good Thai restaurants. There are Pan-Asian restaurants or highly stylized restaurants that I've eaten in that serve some great Thai dishes. Places like Lat 41 and Hi and stuff like that, that do just, they wouldn't describe themselves as Thai, but they have some Thai dishes on their menus that I think are just fantastic. You can see here, the ones that are the darkest are the ones that have cooked the longest. And these don't take very long. And I'm trying to think of the name. There's a place called Coconut Thai that some friends of mine who like to order Thai food out, when I go to their house, they're too embarrassed to cook for me. So they order Coconut Thai all the time, and it's very, very, very good. And then there's another place that is on the far outskirts of the western part of town that some other friends always order from, but I don't. I make my own, and it's kind of fun. I mean, I have to tell you, when people say in the pandemic, what'd you do? I think most people said cooking. And now that, things have changed. We have the Delta variant, and there's all kinds of different rules about going out or staying in, and some people are tired of staying in and all the rest of that. But I'm actually making Thai food This is a true story. This morning we did a food thing on a New York City TV station in support of City Harvest. I'm on their advisory board. Then we spent all day cooking in the kitchen with Abby and Emily and Madeline and JP, because we did 4 new videos for our YouTube channel. And Then I went for a half-hour break, did a Zoom meeting, came back here to be with you guys to do this. And tonight, I'm making 2 Thai recipes that are on my website for a musician friend who's in town. And I'm making my gai tom kha, my chicken coconut milk soup, except instead of doing it with chicken, I'm doing them with whole head-on shrimp. And I'm doing my chicken with chilies and Thai basil.
You're getting some love for JP in the chat.
Oh, I am?
Yeah.
JP's the best. Is that his wife Cheryl chiming in?
I don't think so. That'd be funny though.
It would be very funny. Yeah, JP was here up until about, I don't know, 10 minutes ago. He's probably walking the dog or doing something. We're actually going to a meeting at 6 o'clock together. And if all of that cooking wasn't enough, Madeline, who amongst other things is our culinary producer over at Intuitive Content, is getting ready for a big shoot that we're doing next week. So we're just, busy bees over here. All right, so here we are. So, you can do this, you can put these out in the middle of the table. I mean, you saw that little piece of halibut tail that created all, I didn't even fry them all up. I'll fry those up in a second. But I want to show you when you break it apart. There you go, there's the force meat. You can see the bright green, it's hot enough, it's cooked the fish. Those little green bean pieces are beautiful. Let me nick a little sauce from the side of there without rooting Madeline's photo. Because you know what happens here when you guys, when we say bye-bye and see you next time, the food has to go out and get photographed and then we post it. Okay, so here's the deal. I haven't made this in like, I don't know, year and a half. No, I made it last year at one point. Noah wanted me to make it for him. These are so light and so airy. They're not heavy and dense like a lot of the commercial Thai restaurants make them. They're perfect little fried fish fritters. So perfectly seasoned. I forgot how delicious these were with those little bites. Those bites of green bean in there actually make it. This right here is what you want to be making for dinner. Get some sticky rice, recipe on the website. Make the gai tom kha, which takes about 20 minutes to make. My Thai basil stir fry, which takes about 20 minutes to make. Put them all out, invite your friends over, and you will have a very, very serious Thai feast on your hands, my friends. One that will have you saying, wow, I'm a much better Thai cook than I thought I was. And then all your friends will say, oh my God, Betty, you're right, you are. Anyway, questions, comments, concerns, criticisms? What do you got?
This is a comment. Someone said, looks so good.
Now, the way you said it, Emily, it made it sound like they had multiple O's.
They did, yes.
They did. That's good. So you had a very nice rendition of that.
I try to be accurate.
No, we know you're very, very serious about those things.
We did get some Thai recommendations as well.
Oh, what else in town?
Walk in the park in St. Louis Park.
Okay, never been there.
Me neither. Navia's Thai Brasserie in
I've been there.
Yes. And then I think
They're still not hitting on some of my favorites that I know if they say them, I'll remember what they are.
yeah. And then we've got, I don't think they're exclusively a Thai restaurant, but we've got Quang's on Meat Street.
Well, that's actually a Vietnamese restaurant. In fact, it's not a Thai restaurant, and that is.
Chat saying hi.
What'd you say?
They're in the chat saying hi.
Oh, we love them. And well, the family, I don't want to embarrass them, but the family that still runs Quang Deli. When I had no money and I came out here and I was not me yet, I was washing dishes. I was a dishwasher and a busboy at a restaurant in downtown Minneapolis. And that's when I first discovered people were talking about Quang Deli, fantastic Vietnamese restaurant here in town, my favorite. And I would go in there, and sometimes the bill would come, and I'd be short money and stuff like that, and they'd say, no worries. And sometimes the folks who worked there would actually like buy me a bowl of soup, because I was just like the nice guy that came in there all the time and didn't necessarily have money. And they loved me when I couldn't love myself. They fed me when I didn't have These people represent what the hospitality industry is all about. Somehow, because I didn't tell them, somehow those days they knew that I was the guy that was a nice guy, just didn't have money. And I was just there on the street and it was cold out and they gave me a bowl of soup. Now, flash forward, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 years, and I had established myself in town as a chef. I was working, I had a couple of restaurants here in town, and then I left there and started doing TV and magazine work and stuff like that. And I made sure that I spent all my money there, that I told everyone about that place, like I'm telling everyone now. The family that runs that restaurant is now one of the grandkids may have had a baby, I just don't know. But 3 generations in the store, and the 20-something kids, I remember when their moms were holding them at the cash register. If you live in the Twin Cities or are driving through and you haven't been to Quang Deli, you should go. It's incredible.
Last question.
Yep.
How much fun was it to cook with Melissa King?
Melissa King is super fun, super nice, super funny. One of the most charming and eloquent and dedicated culinarians that I know. She is hungry to learn in a very, very, very profound way, and she is a badass cook. Melissa and I did a dinner at Frasca Food and Wine in Boulder 2 nights before Aspen Food and Wine started. Frasca being one of the best restaurants in the country. We were both, I think, a little intimidated to go into the kitchen that Rob has created there, and that Bobby Stuckey, who's the owner there, that they've created. It's super, super impressive. And Melissa's food just kicks ass. Lobster wontons with yuzu broth just slayed me. Her tuna tartare and shiso leaf, delicious. Everything she made was the crab cake with black garlic aioli and garlic flowers. Very simple, just gorgeous. She's immaculate. She's very, very precise. This is what bugs me. People think because you've cooked on TV that somehow you're not as good as someone who just sits in a restaurant. Melissa is not a chef in a restaurant. She is not a chef in a restaurant, and she's still one of the best cooks in America. See what I'm saying? Don't judge a book by its cover. And she's just super fun to hang out with. I'm really lucky that I have friends like Melissa. One of the things I'm going to post, Abby's very upset with me because I took too many pictures and I have too many things to post, and I know secretly she's harboring a resentment. But wait till I post my, hey, look at all the friends I bumped into. It was really special because I haven't been at a food festival like that in a couple of years. South Beach happened earlier in the year, and everything was just opening, and so I really kind of stayed in my hotel and just went to my events, and they made it that way. They made it very, very limited, and we're just trying to dip their toe in. Aspen went about halfway this year, and it was a blast. It was an absolute blast. Well, there you go. Tod Mun Pla, fish cakes with wonderful spicy peanutty sauce, limes, super easy to make. I mean, I made it start to finish in real time in about 15 minutes. You can do it too. Please, please, please support our sponsors. Be kind to one another. We are almost at 1 million followers on Instagram. Tell your friends to follow. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. I know these are a lot of asks. And all the recipes are on our website. No paywall. We don't steal your info. You can safely sign up for our newsletter. We love you all. See you next week.